But he did build a country.
He built the country.
Yeah.
He built the army.
Yeah.
He built the infrastructure. He built roads. He built ports.
Yes.
He brought Somalia to the forefront of the world.
And what?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back. The Growth Agenda. Mogol, how's a cafe?
How's a coffee? Huh?
Today is a continuation of our last episode. So if there was any mistakes on the last episodes, you guys can get involved. Write it in the comments. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of mistakes. There are a lot of things that we might have glossed over, that we might have missed. So get involved. Let us know. So anyways, so today we're going to continue on from 1969.
Yeah.
So once SYL fell apart, they got arrested, they got ran out the country. What happened next? Siad Barre, he's also known as Chalice Yet, which I didn't know what Chala meant.
So mention the year, the age he came at first.
So Siad Barre came to power at the age of 50 in 1969. He was born in 1919. So he came up right after the end of Sayyid Abdullah Hassan, right at his death. So he came up with those people. But during that, he joined the army, got all the way up to Major General. He was educated and trained all over the world. I think you said he was trained in Russia or Germany.
Yeah, he went to Russia as well for military.
Yeah, so he was trained outside the country. He took part in a couple of different wars with Ethiopia in 1964, also with the Italians in some areas. So even before coming to power, he was a well-known, well-respected person. But in 1969, October 15, 1969, Abdirashid Ali Shamarka gets assassinated. The government is all in shambles. Who takes over?
And this was an opportunity for him to step in.
Exactly. Yeah. There was a lot of opportunities for a lot of different people, but the government couldn't figure out who to give power to. Because some people said, hey, we should go by tribe. Because Ali Shamarka's tribe, we should give it to somebody from that tribe. Some people said, no, we should give it to the most qualified. Yeah. Then all chaos broke loose. October 21, which is 6 days later, and Siad Barre came on the radio and said, hey, we're taking over. And in his first speech, what he said was, I'm going to paraphrase. Like, I don't really remember the exact speech, but I'll paraphrase. He said something along the lines of, it was inevitable for the army to get involved from seeing what is going on in the country at the moment. So he talked about bribery, corruption, mismanagement of public funds. He talked about nepotism, rather than the most qualified person, the closest person to me. So in his first speech, he said it was inevitable because the army is here to protect the people, to protect the country, even from within the country, not just the borders. If there's corruption within the country, we got to protect it from within the country. So he came on, did his speech, and it was a bloodless coup. It was the first time ever.
There was no blood spilled.
No blood spilled. There was no ministers killed in the streets. There was no public destruction. There was no offices being burnt. It was smooth transition from regular government SYL to SRC, the Supreme Revolutionary Council. After that, I think on June of 1969, he suspended the Constitution for 10 years. So he turned it into a one-party state. Which is his party, basically. Which is his party.
Yeah.
So he suspended the Constitution and he said, we're going to rewrite the Constitution so it envelops everybody. Most of the people were okay with it, the public, because they seen the corruption that was prior to him.
Yeah.
So most of them were fine with it. Obviously, you still have some descendants.
Yes.
But majority were fine with it. So now from 1970 to 1969, or from 1969 to 1979, it's a 10 years where the Constitution is suspended. He did a lot in that 10 years.
Country, basically.
Yeah. In the 1970s, early 1970s, he changed it from SRC to SRPS.
Okay.
Somali Revolutionist Socialist Party.
Socialist Party, yeah.
So the Socialist Party has two main parts. It's a Marxist and Leninist. So Vladimir Lenin, Joseph.
Not Joseph, the Marxist. I forget. Not Maxwell.
Marxist.
Marxist. Yeah.
Anyways.
Marxist. Yeah. His first name, I forgot his first name.
So the Marxists, they believe in overthrow capitalism and give public funds to the public and let the public do whatever they need. Mm-hmm. So you pay the doctors, basically like the government pays for everything.
Yeah.
Leninist believes that the government should empower the public to become more political minded. Mm-hmm. So that way they can learn how the government works. Rather than somebody telling you this is how the government works, Leninist believed, teach the public.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Train them.
So in the early 70s, Siad Barre did a lot of things with the youth and the country. So the first thing that he started off was, we need to have a script. The Somali language needs to be written down. So in 1972, the Somali script came into being. It went from Arabic to Latin script where they had ABC, but with Somali phonetics. In 75, he shut the schools, all the secondary schools were shut down. 25,000 students were sent out to the public. Go everywhere in the country, teach. Everybody in the country needs to learn how to read and write. So the entire secondary schools, the high schools, were all shut down.
They were shut down so that they can go and...
Because the young students that are in high school now, they can read and write. So let's take it out to the public.
Yeah.
So they took it to the countrysides. They took it to Barre. They took it to farmers. Also, 3,000 civil workers as well were sent out to teach. That was one of the major ones. Outside of that, there was a lot of infrastructure, roads, electricity, manufacturing capacity. So the sugar plants, you name it, they had fish, fish manufacturing, sugarcane manufacturing. They had a lot. Banana, there was also cooperative farming.
Okay.
So where the government was helping the farmers actually farm. By giving them equipment.
So they had good programs for the farmers.
They had good programs for everybody. Then they started getting rid of tribalism. So what they said is, we don't believe in that. That cannot be, it's out.
I wish that lasted for a long time.
Human beings, money corrupts. So he did that. What else? He also started doing family law. With family law, which was also women's law, sometimes it came head to head with Islamic law. So a lot of the sheikhs, some of the sheikhs would be like, you can't do that. But for most part, majority of the public liked it. But Islamically, some came head to head, no problem. But for that first 10 years, Somalia went into overdrive. They had street lights, running water,
so it was electricity. It was a period of growth, basically.
Growth and prosperity. And they were training, their armies were going around all around Africa training other armies.
Yeah, because they had one of the best armies in the world at that time. I mean,
in Africa,
Yeah, in Africa, yes.
So,
which is an amazing feat, right?
Exactly.
So,
that's what I mean. So in that first 10 years, everything was going smooth. Then near the end of that 10 years, in 1977, is kind of when the downfall started to happen. Somalia invaded Ethiopia because they wanted to get Greater Somalia back.
Oh, because originally they lost some land to Ethiopia. Yeah.
So now they said, hey, we're a government, we're stable, we want our land back. So at this time, they're still connected to the Russians, so the communists.
Yeah.
They went into Ethiopia. They almost took everything that they had back. At the last minute, Russia changed sides.
Oh, okay.
So instead of, going with the Somalis, the people that they came into the war with, they decided to backstab. So they went, helped Ethiopia. So now they're telling Ethiopia, hey, there's a regiment sitting over here, there's 15 planes sitting there, refueling comes every Monday. So they're giving them like all their secrets. So all of a sudden, Somalia gets pushed back to the border, which means you lost that war.
Yeah.
Now Somalia is mad at Russia, or USSR at the time. Somalia is mad at it. It's like, yo, what the hell? They're like, yeah, we told you not to do that and you did it anyway, so it is what it is. What are you gonna do about it? So Somalia now wants to come back into the Western world. So they start trying to befriend the US and the Western allies. So the 1970s ends with the war is lost. Now they're changing their partnership from Russia
to the US.
To the US.
Which is a very bad idea.
But at the time, what are you going to do about it? Like, your best friend stabbed you in the back.
Well, I know, but
you have to change to whoever the next power is that potentially could help you.
There's always another devil that will stab you in the back.
Exactly. So that's how the 70s comes to a close. Oh, and also a new constitution comes in 79. So now in
So he kept his promise. He said within 10 years we'll change the constitution. We'll come up with it. Okay.
The constitution came into play.
Okay.
But now, because he's seen the taste of power, and he's seen the wealth that comes with it, the fame that comes with it, human beings.
Of course. Yeah.
We love those things.
Yeah.
Now, because he's seen those things, he's a little bit more selfish, I want to say.
Or reluctant.
Reluctant to do what he was doing prior.
Yeah.
Like when he came into power, it was under the gaze of, we must stop corruption. We must protect the country. Even before he came into power, in Somalia, the army never got involved in economy, and they never got involved in politics. They just protected, that's it. They left everything else to the politicians. In the 70s, basically the army is running everything. And he's like, yo, look what we did. Like, we progressed this country by 40, 50 years in the span of 10 years. I can keep doing this. So now he's starting to believe his own
ideas.
So he's becoming more like Donald Trump. Where he's like, I'm the greatest thing ever. So the 70s ends right there. Now the 80s is when Somalia starts to
decline.
Slowly decline. Then the later they get in the 80s, the faster it declines. So in the early 80s, tribalism started making a comeback. So all of a sudden you have, I'm Isaac, I'm Amrahan, I'm Hawiyat. Who do you know in the government? Hey, Abti, hey, Adar, get me in a position. Now nepotism is coming back slowly.
Yeah.
Once nepotism comes into play, mismanagement is guaranteed to follow.
That's true.
Corruption is guaranteed to follow. So in the 80s, they just lost to Ethiopia, came back, and then in the early 80s, from 83, and I want to say 83 to about 85, the big famine happened in Ethiopia. Remember that one where Michael Jackson, We Are the World, that song?
They were raising funds for the sick and all that. Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah, famine, right?
Now, all the Somalis that lived in Ethiopia, in Jigjiga and all those areas, they started coming to Somalia. So now you have a lot of influx. When you have a lot of influx, you're going to have tension, which is going to create chaos.
Yeah.
I know we're all family, brothers and sisters, but once I bring 500 goats to your farm and they start eating your crops,
it's a problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Even though you want to help me, you're going to say, hey, hold your goats back. And I'm going to say, If I hold them back, they're gonna die. I don't have a choice. So a little bit of tension is coming in, but it's not a major tension that's doing anything of like state level.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's just annoying. So that's the early 80s. Then 88 to 89, the Isaac War or the Isaac Genocide, whichever way you want to fall into.
Yeah.
The Somali army invades Hargeisa, bombs it, and then that's the beginning of the end. So from 89 to 91, Somalia is in chaos because it's from Qabil to Qabil to Qabil.
Yeah, and that's when different groups and different parties start rising up, right?
So you have the Somali National Movement, which are the Isaac, SNM, the Isaac. Then you have the United Somali Congress, which is the Hawiye. Then you have the Somali Patriotic Movement, which is the Ogaden. And then you have Siad Barre and his government.
His government, yeah.
So, and they're Marrehan. So now, that's the official start of end of Somalia. Because now it turned into Qabil war. Rather than a revolution, it's more of a family lineage. I'm Ogaden, I'm fighting with Ogaden. I'm Marrehan, I'm fighting with Marrehan. I'm Hawiye, I'm fighting with Hawiye.
Yeah.
And I'm against everybody else. It's not who's the best or who's the...
Yeah, everybody's just going in their group and their tribe, basically, yeah.
In their group and in their tribe and their selfishness.
Yeah.
Then in 91...
Everything collapsed, yeah.
Somalia blows up. Everybody is like, what the hell's going on? What do we do? And you heard the rest. A lot of people died. A lot of chaos. And it took more than 15 years, 20 years to start moving forward. Not even to go back to where we were, just to start taking steps forward.
We're still trying to recover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at least we're a little bit more recovered than we were in the early 2000s.
But at the stage, the level we were at that time,
we declined heavy.
Yeah. Militarily, everything.
Economically, culturally, language, you name it. We declined. So that's Siad Barre in a nutshell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I glossed over. There's a lot of things that I skipped over.
Yeah.
But that's just like the major points. So from 1969 to 1991, which is 22 years.
22 years, yeah.
In those 22 years, the first 10 years, amazing. The next 10 years could have been better. The last 2 years.
So when you said that he wanted to change the constitution, and then when the time came up, that's when he changed his mind,
he changed the constitution. Yeah. No, he didn't change his mind. He changed the constitution and he turned it into a one-state party, though.
Okay.
So instead of turning it into a democracy, where you have 15 or 10 political groups that can all have their votes and whatever, he changed that to one political party.
Only one political can win.
Only one political, which is only his. And with that, that's when...
I think that created a lot of tensions between other groups as well, right?
But that's why I said, now nepotism comes into play.
Yeah.
Because the person that you're going to trust the most is your brother or your sister.
Exactly, which is nepotism. I mean, he was avoiding that in the beginning. He had good ideals, he had good ideas, but eventually, when you get so comfortable with having power and all the access and all that, you tend to, become a little bit more greedy, depending on the human being. We're all human beings, right? So,
exactly, and it's the same, and it's the exact same thing with SYL.
Yeah.
When they began, they were very idealistic. They had amazing thoughts.
Yeah.
By the end, it went left.
So it went left.
The exact same thing.
Yeah.
So for him, when he came into power, he did all the right steps.
Yeah.
When he stepped out of power, he did all the wrong steps.
You say about that with the current leaders and the past leaders, past 10, 15 years.
With all of them, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
In the beginning, give yourself a time limit. Don't say I'm going to stay in power for the next 100 years. And that's with every leader in Africa. and even in the West.
Yeah.
So Mugabe, F-Wark in Eritrea.
They were in power for over 30 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
What's his name? Kambara from Burkina Faso, who got kicked out like in 2013 or 14.
2008 or something like that, yeah, around that time.
Yeah, he was in power from 87 to like...
And he's the one who took over when Sankara got assassinated.
No, he's the one that killed Sankara.
Probably, yeah.
No, he did.
Yeah.
No,
he admitted it?
Yeah. He didn't have to admit it, but it's enough proof that he did it. But you can't stay in power for like 30, 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, even stay in power 30, 40 years, but at least build a country, right?
No, but that's the problem. If you stay in power for that long, you're going to get into nepotism. Because at some point, your mind is going to decline. Like, your mind is at its best from like 40 to about 65, I want to say.
Yeah.
After 65, you're declining.
They're declining, I know.
Why do you want to stay in power till you're 90?
and being a president or a leader of a country is very stressful.
Exactly. But imagine that at the age of 90.
Yeah.
At the age of 95.
Yeah.
Like Mugabe, when he passed on, he was well into his 90s.
Oh, yeah.
He was a well-educated man, but at some point, your mind is going to...
decline, I know. Give the younger generation.
Exactly. Train the younger ones to replace you.
Yeah.
Don't train your brother, your sister, or your son, but train the best person. And that's one of the reasons why political groups, they work sometimes and they don't work sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they have the right ideals, they have the right ideas, and then there's other times they have the wrong intentions or you know, bad agendas, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, amazing start, horrible ending. Then from 1991 to about 2005,
yeah, it was just turmoil.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
In that time frame, I think there was like 4 or 5 different presidents that nobody really recognized. Like, oh, I'm president such and such in this little area, but you don't have control over anything else.
Now, let me ask you this question. Do you suspect, you know, like when Somali declined during that time, there were outside influences like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and also even the US in the West?
No,
because when they were, during Siad Barre's time, right, he was building the country, they had one of the best military, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think, like, you know, the neighbors like Saudi Arabia, they would worry, hey, this country is doing good and they're rising?
Siad Barre was helping out Saudi Arabia. He was giving them funds.
How so?
Like when he was truly in power and Somalia was like actual world power almost, he was helping out the Middle East. He was helping them finance things, build infrastructure. He was helping them out. Then when he declined and they rose up, they forgot about you. It's that old Eddie Murphy joke. What have you done for me lately? It's like, you did it for me yesterday, but what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, in your time of need, who are your real friends?
Exactly.
Right?
So, but he did a lot of things, and Somalia did a lot of things for Africa itself.
Yeah.
They were one of the first leaders of the, what is it called? The African Union. The African Union, they were one of the first to sit.
One of the first members, basically.
Not even the first member. He was the first president, I think.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the first presidents.
Okay.
Then he was followed by Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay.
But he was one of the first presidents to sit at the presidency of the African Union.
It's amazing how the level of success Somali has reached at that time.
And how far they declined.
Yeah, and how far they declined as a nation, right? So.
Exactly. So that's why I said there's a lot of different things that we can say about Siad Barre.
But there's a lot of good things he did.
And there's a lot of good things he did.
And I don't think he gets enough credit, right?
No.
Not a lot of people know about it.
Because people are emotional.
Yeah.
They will say, he did this to my uncle, to my qabil, to my tribe, to my family, to my region. So majority of the time you remember the bad things rather than the good things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to weigh them. He's a human being. He has flaws. He did some things wrong, and he did some things right.
Yeah.
I did, you do.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, judgment is left for Allah. We can look back at his history and say, hey, at this point in time, he should have done this. But that's playing couch coach. Like, you're watching a basketball game and you're saying, ooh, LeBron James should have passed it to this guy. You don't know what LeBron James is thinking.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here comfortable eating my popcorn, I can commentate. I don't have the skill to do it.
Yeah.
I don't have the will to do it. But I can commentate and be like, yeah, Siad Barre, when he did ABC, he should have done DEF.
Yeah. Should have, could have, you know.
Yeah. But like I said, he's a human being.
Yeah.
I'm almost 100% sure he tried his best, and it just got away from him.
So now, with this situation right now in Somalia, do you think we'll ever reach that level again?
Yeah,
it's possible.
I do. Because, like, the thing with human beings is we learn, we adapt. Like,
well, so many of our leaders right now haven't learned yet.
But
they're so
that's
divided
just the ones
and
now.
disconnected.
But that's just the ones now. Like, when U.S. came, like 2008, when Barack Obama came into the presidency of the U.S., everybody was like, oh, the U.S. is changing, amazing, it's going to be for the better. Donald Trump came in.
Yeah, same thing.
You know what I mean? So human beings, we have the ability to raise up, and we have the ability to bottom out. Like, we can go both directions. It just depends on the help that you get.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, right now, Ibrahim Traore, the Sahel region, so Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
They're doing amazing things.
Yeah, they're partnering, they're working together.
But the only reason that they're doing amazing things is because the public is helping them.
Yeah.
If the public was against them,
well, I see in your country, why would the majority of the people that live in the country, I don't think they will be against you as long as you have good intentions and you're trying to build a country. When people see that you are trying to do good for the country, they will stand behind you.
But you got to sell it. Because just because I have good ideas, if I don't tell you those ideas.
But with Ibrahim Traore, right, Burkina Faso, I think he proved by doing actions.
Yes.
Right? Because you cannot just sell it, but you have to also do it through action.
No. You do it through the action.
Yeah.
But the public has to buy in.
See what he did? He kicked out the French.
Because even before him, go back to Thomas Sankara, for example.
Yeah.
He came into power.
Yeah.
And what's the first thing that he did?
Yeah. He nationalized
exactly
the resources of the country, right?
Yeah. But he told them also, the public, you build the roads, I will pay you.
Yeah.
Within overnight, villages and cities were connected by roads.
Yeah.
Because the public built it.
So like I said,
Somalia,
that is action.
Yes, but that
not just words and sit down, but that's action.
But that's why I said
he's also giving incentive to get involved, right?
Exactly. Because the closest example is Zora Mandani in New York.
Yeah.
When that big snowfall happened like a month ago, he said, "What? I'm going to pay $30 an hour, shovel the snow." Overnight, the city was cleared. The road, the sidewalks were all clean.
Yeah.
That has never happened in New York.
Wow. See?
Money.
Those are initiatives.
Money. And public buy-in.
Yeah, public buy-in,
So if the public doesn't buy in.
Connect with the public.
Exactly. You tell the public, hey, this benefit is for you.
Exactly. Don't
I will pay you, but this is for you.
Don't outsource the resources outside. Don't outsource the work that needs to be done within the country outside.
Exactly.
Right?
So with Somalia, Siad Barre did a lot of those things in his early stages, where he was doing the farming cooperatives.
Yeah.
He's helping out farmers by feeding the country.
Yeah. And farming is one of the most important industry in any nation, in a country, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
At one point, they had one of the biggest fisheries in Africa. They were selling fish around the world, canned, manufactured in Somalia.
Yeah. Canned tuna,
canned whatever you want, all of it. They had their sugar plants.
We had so much fish in our
ocean,
man.
How that's cleared out? No, it's cleared out.
Still, people catch fish, huge fishes. Have you
seen? They catch it.
Coast?
They catch it, but we don't have the same
the
commercial. No, we don't have the same commercial farming.
We used to have, because we don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the system, right?
That's one. The second one is China is sitting right off the coast of Somalia.
Yeah.
Most of Europe is sitting off the coast of Somalia, just fishing.
I know.
India is sitting off the coast. Japan is sitting off the coast.
Yeah.
If you don't have an army to protect, if you don't have a navy to protect your land, your waters, your oceans, everybody's going to take advantage of it.
Oh yeah.
And when they take advantage of it, like right now in Eastern Canada, there's limitations of how much you can fish and what you can fish. What type of fish that you can fish, and how much of it you can fish. There's limitations because they don't want that fish to die off.
Yeah.
But in Somalia, because
it's unlimited,
no, because there's not enough of a government to hold that down and say, hey, China, you can't do that. Hey, Europe, you can't do that. You're overfishing. Because they don't have the army and the manpower and the capacity to fight back, they get taken advantage of. Yes, of course. Like the regular farmer or the regular fisherman, he's still gonna catch fish.
But here's what I am against, right? Just because you don't have the resources and everything to fight back, doesn't mean you just sit there and allow it to happen, right?
But that's where piracy came in.
Well, other than piracy, I know piracy, they're doing their part, trying to fight and fend off all the ships that's coming into our shores, right? But I'm saying also with the leaders,
yes,
they ought to think about our industry. What's because
the
amount of exploitation that's happening within our country, right? They could go out and create partnership.
They can.
Yeah.
But the problem with most of the leaders, they're bought and paid for. Like right now, everybody says the U.S. is bought and paid for by Israel. Somalia is bought and paid for by everybody.
Yeah.
Dubai has a big say in it. China has a big say in what the president of Somalia says and does. U.S. has a big say in it. India has a say in it. Ethiopia, Kenya have a say in it. Because they're paying them. It's corruption. It's a form of corruption. But that's the problem. Like when you don't have strong leaders, you can be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue right now. No, we have a long way to go, but I can see the end of it. Because like with Somalia itself, like it has oil, it has ports, potential for ports. It's the longest coast in Africa. You can connect Somalia to Ethiopia, Uganda, Tanzania. You can interconnect all of those through ports in Somalia. So anything that comes from Central Africa technically could go through Somalia. Anything that comes from outside of Africa technically could go through Somalia. That's an opportunity. Fishing, opportunity. Oil, opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Animal husbandry. So camels, goats, opportunity. We used to be one of the biggest exporters of livestock.
Yeah, oh yeah, especially the Gulf countries.
Exactly.
They used to buy a lot of from us,
It's an opportunity.
Banana,
it's an opportunity. Frankincense, we're still the biggest producer.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different opportunities if you have a strong will and a strong support from government. But because there's no strong will and strong support from government, the public is like, I can't buy in. I can't invest $20 million not knowing.
We need the younger generation to get involved, honestly. We need grassroots, movements.
But that's what everything is.
Yeah.
SYL was grassroots.
Yeah, we need new children. SYL. That's what they need. A new SYL.
But that's why I said opportunity comes and goes.
Yeah.
And that opportunity can come. But with the new opportunities now, because it's more of a global thing, it's through economy. It's through business. is through ports. Why is Dubai so rich? Yes, they have oil, yeah, but they also make a ton of money from ports.
Yeah, for ports and tourism and stuff like that.
The tourism is just recent.
Yeah.
But the ports is where a lot of their money comes from. Because they control a lot of ports in Asia and Africa and Europe and Middle East. They control a lot of ports. And with the ports, every boat that comes in, you're charging millions. And it's nonstop. All day, every day, there's a different boat coming in. You're just collecting millions. Somalia has that opportunity.
Yeah.
Ethiopia is landlocked. Why can't everything that goes into Ethiopia go through Somalia? Hey, I understand, like, Ethiopia and Somalia don't like each other.
No, they
but
don't.
Business is business.
Yeah, I know. Until they see that.
Business is business.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna go against their
cooperation is better than competition. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with cooperation, Somalia has a lot of opportunity.
Okay.
Just in minor things, like stuff that we don't even touch right now. There's so much oil underneath Somalia that's not tapped in. There's so much farming opportunity that's being squandered. The fishing industry, potential is huge.
Oh yeah.
Become a transport hub, the opportunity is huge. Because all the stuff that's coming out of Congo has two choices. Go east or go west. Why not go east? Drive it through Rwanda, Uganda, and go to Somalia. Put trucks on the road. Put railroads on the road, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that will.
Because right now, if they take it east, they have to go around all of Africa to come to Europe and sell it off. If they put a train tracks to Somalia,
yeah, it's a shortcut.
It's a shortcut. It's an opportunity.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are people just don't want that to happen.
Of course.
Their competitors, their countries, their other
individuals.
interests. Yeah. So.
No, but that's why I said it's the opportunity.
Okay.
So we kind of got a little off topic from Siad Barre to Greater Somalia.
So it's connected, right?
Yeah, it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
So this will be the end of this episode.
Yeah.
So if we missed anything, or if we've forgotten anything, or if we've mistaken anything, let us know. Write it in the comments.
Yeah.
Like, we're not historians. We just read a couple of things and watched a couple of videos.
Yes.
We don't know the minutiae, we don't know the ins and outs, but you might know better than us. If you want to share a book or a documentary, send it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always willing to learn.